Hi guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, we have to talk about this chaotic ass episode 4 of season 2 of Summer House Martha's Vineyard. Everybody had main character syndrome. Everybody's trauma came out to play. Everybody wanted to be the main storyline. Everything was all over the place, so let's get right into it. The whole crew came home crying. Summer was crying. Jordan was crying. Like, the girls are having actual full-on meltdowns, and we can never forget there's a lot of drinking happening here. So I'm trying to keep that in mind when evaluating, judging what these folks got going on. And so it's like, okay, heightened emotions, but also, would you be doing this sober? I feel like you kind of would. I still do not fully understand the Summer and Jordan fight. And what I would like to say is that I would have been Shanice and Nick just eating chips, wondering what the hell is going on. I would love to be that person. I would love to say that I'm someone who is detached and wondering why everybody is so angry, but I'm dramatic too. I'm dramatic too. I would love to believe that I wouldn't be one of those people, but who knows? Who can say? So everyone decides to go to church the next day. The fact that Alex is a church kid, it tracks. I can't explain it, but it tracks. When he said that his dad was a Pentecostal pastor, I said, pieces are hitting. Things are making sense. I can't explain it, but it makes sense. Once again, Preston is playing peacemaker between everybody. And I'm so happy that he told Summer, you need to go have these conversations with Shanice. You need to go have these conversations with Jordan. I continue to just feel like Preston is doing the most emotional labor, and some of the things that he actually feels kind of get skipped over. I fully understand how Preston feels being a queer Black man who does not feel comfortable in a church. I think that traditional Southern Black churches aren't necessarily a safe space for people that are queer and or socially conscious. Um, it's very rare to find like a church place that's welcoming of all people, like across the board. So I was really happy that he was vocal about that. Amir made it weird though when he came in. It was kind of like he was all lives mattering the thing. And the point that I felt like Preston was making is like, yeah, church is not a safe space for me because like gay people go into church and they're told that they're going to be condemned to hell, but the child molesters get to run the church. It's weird. It's weird. The fornicators and the adulterers, they're good, but the gay is where they draw the line. That's a conversation for another day. But I felt Preston on that. He continues to be the only person that I can really root for, and I hope he doesn't let me down. Noelle, girl, I felt her embarrassment secondhand. Like, I get secondhand embarrassment really bad, but I empathize with her so hard. Waking up the next day and realizing or remembering the rejection that she felt from Alex. And I hate so much. It's something that I talk about on my podcast as well. I hate that we constantly feel embarrassment over romantic rejection or when a romantic situation doesn't work out the way we want it to. There is this feeling of embarrassment or shame. And I really hate that, especially when it's on the part of the vulnerable party. Like, if you get cheated on, you feel embarrassed. If you get rejected, you feel embarrassed. But you did what you're supposed to do in pursuit of romantic love. You put yourself out there, and sometimes it doesn't work. And I just really hate that we tend to feel embarrassed when it doesn't go the way that we want it to. But she also revealed that this stems from her trauma being rejected by her father. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people can relate to that. And I don't think that that's just a Black thing. I think that there are people who have quote unquote active fathers in their lives, but feel rejected by them. Just because a person is there, like in physical presence, doesn't mean that they are there. Just because a person is a provider as a father doesn't mean that they are like an active, good father. So I don't want it to be like, oh, another childless, another fatherless Black girl. I think that there are sometimes even people who have fathers feel rejected by their fathers. I talk to those people every day and have to look at them play their trauma out on the rest of us. But I think that when that kind of trauma gets triggered, it's not even about the fact that Alex wasn't receptive to her desire for him. It's taking her all the way back to the initial rejection that she felt and still feels from her dad. Like that pain is more present than what's actually happening with Alex. Because I think that if she could be present, like, and say, you know what, he's really not that desirable, that doesn't matter as much. It's the pain of being rejected by her dad that's really getting at her. And my heart really felt for her for that. Um, and it was just so interesting. Noelle has spent this entire season just rubbing people's backs, comforting people about things that happened long before she even got here. Okay, so Jordan and Summer go talk. Jordan, everybody got so much going on. Everybody has a lot going on. Summer is trying to find her father. She just threw that in there with no other details. So Summer's trying to find her father. She's her grandmother's about to have surgery, and I'm sure she has a host of other things going on. Shanice revealed to us what she has going on besides her unemployment, like later in the episode. And we know that Jordan is dealing with the trauma of alopecia losing her hair, right? I think that two things can be true at once. You can be having a really hard time, and you can also be contributing to someone else having a hard time. Jordan still hasn't taken any accountability for how she talks to people. It just keeps being, I'm going through a lot. We all got pain, Effie. In this economy, do you think that anyone is having a good time of it? If you can recognize that you're having a hard time, have a little bit of humility to realize that so are other people, and maybe we need to be more cautious in the way we talk to and engage with folks, right? I think that saying that her issue with Summer is that she revealed personal information to her ops. Girl, if Jasmine is that much of your enemy, why you stay in the house with her? Like, let's be so fucking for real. Let's be so fucking for real. If you feel that strongly about Jasmine, you shouldn't be sharing personal space with her. You shouldn't be back on the show if you dislike her to that extent. Like, and she didn't say anything that was particularly revealing. She just said that she was comforting you. I think that people should assume that folks who are friends are comforting each other. Nothing was revealed about you. Like, be so fucking serious. And I think that, yes, Summer might have some issues with what she says in the moment because, you know, the whole thing about Shanice actually being unemployed and saying that she's the worst dressed. I don't think that a person, I can't square that circle. I think that this is a bit of like, I think that I think that Jordan and Shanice have a lot of pent up anger and frustration. And I think that Summer is an easy scapegoat because Summer isn't fully self-aware herself. Like, I think that Summer is just kind of an easy place to put that, to say like, oh, well, you said this because of that. And it's like, is that what's really going on here? Or do you just have some shit that you're not really talking about? Which we find out later in the episode is the thing. I don't think Summer is really the issue here. I think that both of those women are really angry about what's happening in their lives. And we'll get there. So Jasmine finally reveals to us in her confessional that she's pregnant, which we all knew. And I think that if Jasmine had been a more authentic person last season, not been so focused on being a Stepford wife and just on being herself and on being a self-actualized person, she would be able to be vulnerable enough to share things with this group and get the support that she needs. And I understand the whole, you wait until you get through your first trimester before you reveal that to people. That's perfectly fine, all well and good. But I think that Jasmine is somewhat responsible for the isolation that she's feeling in the house because of how she performed last season, honestly. Is it me or was nobody happy to see Silas on FaceTime? I don't think they cared. The dinner was a bit much for me. The dinner was so dramatic. They went to dinner after Bria's Coachella, I guess it was. It was a bit all over the place. Like, okay, Bria. I also don't understand why at the Coachella thing, Bria got so upset about them asking when Simon was coming and whatever. Like, girl, you be looking to be offended, but okay. So Alex says that he's been noticing that Jordan isn't her usual self. That seemed like a sincere observation to me. Now, y'all know I don't like to give Alex too much because Alex be playing in people's faces. But he seemed to be genuinely asking, like, Jordan, are you okay? Like, what's up with you? You're a bit more quiet than you usually are. And going back and looking at it, it looks like the producers were showing like how she was just kind of like disengaged and detached, like throughout the episode, just kind of like making faces, whatever, whatever. Jordan takes this moment to make a very dramatic monologue about how her brain is processing time and she inherited her mother's parents because she's an only child, her mom was an only child, and she wants to be able to have time to do things with her dad before he dies and all these things like that. And she's just dealing with so much. And then the alopecia, and she's losing her hair, and Black women's hair as currency. I still don't know how I feel about that. Please slide in the comments and let me know if y'all can decipher what she means by our hair being our currency. I feel like that's kind of buying into some things that maybe we shouldn't buy into. But let me know what you guys think about that because I'm still sitting with it. And it's kind of like a record scratch. What she then further goes to say to Alex that, like, me and you were never cool because I really didn't like you and wanted to beat your ass about how you treated Shanice last season. Now, to backtrack, Alex was very weird and very standoffish towards Shanice because it was revealed that she had been charged with like stalking her ex and all this stuff like that. Alex was very weird to her and very rude to her about that. But in retrospect, it was actually Jasmine who brought that conversation to the table. And I don't know if that's a producer thing that they tell them when you sit down to dinner, say this thing so that you can shake shit up and make a scene, or if that just kind of happens organically. But it was actually Jasmine who put it on blast. And then Shanice talks about like how it traumatized her and she's still dealing with it. And that's the first thing that people see when they Google her. I don't think that Alex is responsible for that solely. Was he a weirdo and did he treat her like she was psychotic? Absolutely, but you came on a reality show where people were obviously going to be curious about who you were. People were going to Google you. People were going to be curious about what got you on the show. I don't think that he's solely responsible for that being the first thing that people see about you when they Google you. You're on a reality show. I'm so sorry. And I hate to hear that this guy's just really toxic and is suing her for $20,000 and she's unemployed and she doesn't, like talking about her feelings. And it's like, yeah, we met. We've seen what happened. We see how you try to manage your feelings. It's not great, honey. Like, we know. So everyone's crying. Everyone's having a moment. Amir is like, do you want to step aside? Do you want to go? And once again, Noelle is just rubbing people's backs, and Preston is saying like there are reasons why we don't confide in each other about things, and he even holds himself accountable of like, I may not always be the safest space for people to reveal things, and I can own that. This then prompts Bria to say she wants to have a moment too. And Bria decides that she wants to turn up, and she's been suppressing her feelings about the Mariah situation, and if everybody else can have a moment, then why, oh why can't she? Bria, for the love of God, do you ever read a room? Does it always have to be about you? Do you always have to make a scene? And then it's, I've been suppressing my feelings for you. And I love that Preston was like, why doesn't she get like a Gorilla Glue grip? Like, you're not hood. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to fight. We see what happens when someone actually gives you back the energy you're giving them. Now you're traumatized over 2 seasons of a show. Calm down. It's just ridiculous. And then Jasmine completely breaks down because she doesn't know where she stands with anyone from one day to the next. And she needs support. And this episode was so chaotic. Everybody's going through something. And everybody feels that what they're going through is the hardest and most important thing, so they can't possibly be expected to show up in a reasonable way for anyone else. This was so much. This was so much. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments. I just don't. Girl, what? Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments. And I'll be back for episode 5. Sorry I was late. I was traveling this weekend, but I will be back with the next episode on time. Be sure to comment, subscribe, like, share, and all the things. And join our Patreon if you want to support the platform. And we will talk soon.